No, we usually give about 10 minutes or so.
Well, you can put a new one, but I'll send you back TA and you can come back for a
Yeah, how's it going?
Pretty good news.
Good, thanks.
How you doing?
Hello, Mike, how are you?
Friday yet? Almost. Raymond?
Ready tomorrow. Oh, that's housing. That's probably buildings.
10 minutes.
You would have told me that you put it by me if it was worse. Like, you told me I put something, it was maybe it's presented something. That's
Not big, not too much, not big agenda.
There we go. We are
Back?
Yeah.
Oh, are you putting it on Facebook?
We're putting it on YouTube.
YouTube?
I need an agenda. Or I didn't know if I pictured you what I was doing. Well, I didn't print it. Thought there was one at the bottom. No? No, the bottom.
That's not now.
So it's facing this way or the other way?
No, you're
That's
gonna have to
facing that, right?
one goes to the.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Sheila.
Hi, you guys.
I'm trying to figure out how to.
You don't need yours on.
Oh, never mind, sir. Here's the one to watch. This is our colored copy.
Some are colored. Veronica made them.
I'm in color, because I need an original for the packet. There you go. Thank you. There we go. I know I didn't take. Take notes for her last meeting. Because they don't have me over there. They're on the computer. Remember? I didn't see it on the computer. Service. I was sitting on the view. I was saying, yeah, I was with the thing, with the agenda. Do you know how I work like you? I know I'm not. You asked me to go over there to the thing. I didn't think it was.
Oh, yeah, just a sweet.
No, it wasn't. It was about. I'm not saying it.
I'm just kind of
That's why
figuring
I
out how
took
to move
But
this
I'm not saying that. We got to have all the names in that phone.
live. Okay, that's up here.
There you go.
There we go.
Chair.
Facebook Live. We're on YouTube Live. Is it YouTube Live? Yes, sir. Oh, YouTube Live. Yeah, we're pretty. There's a little bit of a delay between.
Are you serious?
How are you today? How are you? Good.
It's yours and I need to give it to Lori. I said, Lori, you watch her. My thought, I said, you said, I said, Lori, I heard her. She goes, it's so nice. I said, oh, somebody can't be water.
Commissioner, I think we're gonna
Like Joe.
try to set up a meeting for P&Z for December, the first of December.
Yes, yes, I
I
did.
never got that email.
That's the phone number. That's the number. That's the actual due date.
She is so many. And then the ROI.
That's his phone number, direct cell phone number. Okay, and the other one is just the general office, CID.
But yeah, I never
Okay.
even.
Yeah, I mean, permit? Yeah.
No, I understand. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to assume that. That's the problem.
We'll get
Yeah,
that.
that's a little too long. Yeah.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, Commissioner.
And we gotta talk about, didn't, for the last meeting, they talked about something regarding the bond? Or we had, was there a deadline of like December 13th or something or other?
I think the only deadline we had was the memo to the governor in regards to the appointment deadlines.
Not regarding anything with the bond.
Not that I can remember.
So, but anyway, my point was, did we need to move the December meeting even up further? Well, or the 17th, is that still gonna be fine?
That's fine.
It's fine with me too. Should we move up the date, the time?
What time is it?
Well, 3 before the regular time. Since we'll be at TA,
You wanna do it, you wanna go on the time, or you wanna go back on the time, 1 o'clock, or
well, just to be respect for those that are traveling back, no,
just wanna do it?
is that okay with you? What do you think?
Well, we'll talk about it.
Trying to see what on YouTube.
We'll on YouTube and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not,
Yeah, there it is.
Our first meeting live.
What is it, 4-H? County Fair Association?
Our monitor broke here, so we have to look at that. Totally repair, we must repair. For the housing.
we should have this the other before. The name of Lori, so I still not something to respond to you. Hello. Okay, good.
Hello, how are you?
Did you ask him?
I did.
There's some people, for most people. For most people.
Yeah, it does. It's not that.
Yeah.
That's why
I never said anything about I'm good.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yes.
You're not lying. So like when you're recording, as we go to the commission, I just wanted to play around. So now I'll switch cameras over to you.
Don't have the, what's up?
We're live, so everybody.
Do we really have to?
Should. No, it's a cable on the back side also. Yeah, the machine is at the table, and the cable is working around, so I'm waiting on some cables.
Guys ready? Ready? Marcia, you ready?
Second page. That's where they go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our regular commission meeting of Tuesday, November 9, 2019. This meeting is called to order at 3:01 p.m. Ms. Padilla, you want to do a roll call for us, please?
Leo Carrillo,
Present.
Danny Garcia,
Present.
James Martinez,
Present.
Let the record show that all three commissioners are present and that we have a quorum and we can continue with our agenda on hand. Mr. Campos, is there any additions, deletions, or any changes to the agenda today?
No changes.
I have a motion for a modification to the agenda, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
If we can table 3F, which is resolution number 2020-039 until December's meeting, to ensure that members of the fire department can join us, and that we then also have possibly Mayor Javier Sanchez with us.
The same page.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, I recommend you approve the agenda with that modification.
Thank you.
okay, well, is that in the form of a motion, Commissioner Romero?
Motion to approve the agenda with the modification of tabling item 3F until December.
Okay. There's a motion by Commissioner Jaramillo to table item 3. Do we hear a second?
Yes, I second that.
There's a second by Commissioner Martinez. Any further discussion?
No.
There being none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 That's have it. Okay, so we shall continue with the agenda as motion. And before we start, can everyone stand up so we can do a pledge of allegiance, please? Commissioner Jaramillo, will you do that?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Thank you, Commissioner. Please remain standing while we have our Commissioner Martinez do a prayer.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Yes, let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this afternoon. First of all, we thank you for a beautiful day that you have blessed us with. We thank you for allowing us to gather together here to discuss the business that's in front of us. We ask you, Lord, that you would guide our decisions, that you would bless our constituents, our family, our friends, and that you would bless Arriba County. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Mr. Chair, don't forget to announce that we're
Yeah, I'm going to announce it now. Commissioners will greet our guests today, and just to let the public know that we're all, for our first meeting, this is videotaped today. So if you guys see us smiling a lot, you must know why. You might be laughing at it, but we're smiling to the camera.
It's actually live on Facebook, is what
YouTube.
or YouTube. I'm sorry.
YouTube, yeah. So, welcome everyone. Commissioners, go ahead. You want to greet our guests?
All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon in the beautiful Espanola Valley. Just last Tuesday, we were in TA, another beautiful part of our county, and here we are in Espanola today. So thank you. There's several guests and visitors that are joining us, along with our county staff. So thank you for being here today. God bless you. Of course, as we approach Thanksgiving, may you all have a blessed and a happy and a safe Thanksgiving to you and your families. Thank you.
Commissioner Arriba.
Thank you everyone for coming. It's always exciting to see a packed house in the annex building in our commission chambers, but it's always exciting to know that there's some national finalists in our presence who will be representing Arriba County that we'll be talking about later. And so it's always good to see Arriba County in the national spotlight in a positive way. On a related note, today Roger Montoya and Salvador were both on a morning show, a Spanish morning show out of Miami, Florida, showcasing that he is a CNN hero and right here from Espanola Valley and the impact they're having in the valley. That's tremendous to see that on a national stage as well. I also want to echo what Commissioner Martinez said, to have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. I'm happy that you're here, and I hope Kim Bias, if you're watching, who I worked with at KRQE News 13, you're going to wish I was at the news desk right by you instead of YouTube Live.
Thank you, Commissioners. Again, welcome everyone. And I will echo the same statement from both Commissioners. You all have a very happy Thanksgiving, safe, and one that is being grateful to our Lord and being with family. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here.
And just one last thing, if you don't mind, since you're here, to all of you who voted in the bond election, whichever way you voted, thank you for taking part of the process and for voting. And for those of you who entrusted your vote for the county to approve the bond, I am extremely grateful and thankful. So thank you.
Thank you. Tomas, other than we approved the agenda already, so we're moving on. We move to item 7, old business, and we have approval of minutes for our regular meeting in Guerra Maria, October 22nd. Commissioners, what is your pleasure of this commission?
I make a motion to approve.
There's a motion by Commissioner Martinez. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jaramillo. Discussion. There being none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion carried. Aye. We move to new business, and we have presentations. And we have Employee of the Month. And I will be presenting this award, and I will read the letter to our recommendation from Clifton M. Hughes. Good afternoon, Chairman Garcia, Commissioner Jaramillo, Commissioner Martinez. For your consideration, I would like to nominate Brian Varela, operator of the Coyote Road Departments, as Employee of the Month. Brian has gone above and beyond his regular work duties and demonstrates outstanding work ethics. Brian excelled as interim road supervisor for the Coyote area. Brian has worked throughout the county and has been a model employee and a great example of his peers. His exemplary willingness and devotion to the county and its roads department are unsurpassed. When Brian is presented with a challenge, he not only takes on the challenge willingly, he works hard at motivating his peers and inspiring them to achieve a higher standard. Brian's experience has proven to be very valuable, not just to training new employees, but also by providing support to veteran employees. Brian shows up to work every day with a humble and energetic attitude. Well, congratulations, and I guess Brian is not here, but I wonder, Tomas, if they were...
Anybody let him know or not?
We did contact the supervisor and asked for the attendance.
Okay. Well, it's pretty sad that they're not here, and we really like to congratulate our nominees and awarded Employee of the Month. But anyway, we have a plaque for Brian Varela, and congratulations from each and every one of us commissioners. So let's give Brian. County manager, will you make sure that that is presented to Brian Morel, along with his letter of recommendation? And we shall move to item number 2, the County Fair Association, Christy Archuleta. Good afternoon, Ms. Christy.
Hi there, thank you so much. Hi Commissioners, you can hear me. Thank you so much for inviting us to come and speak today. My name is Kirsty Archuleta, I'm the chair of the Fair Association, and we're just going to give a quick brief of how the fair went this year. First of all, I want to welcome the Faulkner family, and we're super proud of those kids, and you'll get to hear from them shortly.
Have them stand up for us, please, if you will. Congratulations. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining our commission meeting.
So with that, we'll just move on to the next slide. I am the chairman. My vice chair is Alex Codice. He is here today, and he is also the county commission liaison. I think you all hear from him regularly, and we really appreciate his role. Clarissa Bocc is our secretary, and Carrie Law is our treasurer. We have some new members at large: Kevin Braithwaite, Tommy Gallegos, Leticia Garcia Gonzalez, Nick Lovato, and Brian Behill. That's our core of the association, and we're a very dedicated group. It takes a lot of time to put on this fair. It's a lot of work. We meet on the second Tuesday of every month until May. Then we meet twice a month. July, we start meeting weekly until the fair. The next slide is just our objective and kind of about the association. I'm just going to move quickly because I think you guys have actually seen this before. So the next slide shows that Arriba County has 17 active 4-H clubs. It serves about 200 youth in the county. It's all very positive. The work that the 4-H group does and the FFA kids, and really the highlight of it is really the county fair, of course. It's all year long. These kids are doing service projects and activities throughout their local communities, and you can see where the clubs are spread out throughout the map. The next slide, this is our second year that we've partnered with Los Alamos County. They are starting to gather or gain more interest in 4-H. They have one club. They had 7 kids last year show at the fair that showed livestock or participated in the Homemade Delight contest, and 3 of them made it to the junior livestock auction, and that was really great. That was really exciting for those kids because they don't get that opportunity. Los Alamos County also provided the outdoor movie screen. We started outside, and unfortunately the weather got rough, and so we had to move it inside, but we showed the movie Coco this year. It was really fun. We just continue to grow our partnership with Los Alamos County as well. So for our fair this year, we had about 200 kids that were registered, and again, like I said, 7 were from Los Alamos County. Our auction total this year, it was very successful. Between the Homemade Delights and the add-ons, it raised $112,153.50. That's really great. That's really the community coming out and supporting these kids. So really, thank you to everybody that did that made a donation, time, money, all of it really is very helpful. Our total expenses this year was $25,645. It's not cheap to run a fair, but we are financially sound, and we really are thankful for the donation that we get from you guys as part of the lodger's tax of $6,400. The next slide is just a couple of pictures to showcase some of the kids. There's lots of activities. If you'll backtrack just one more slide, if you can go back. That center picture, I just want to show you that banner. That was a really great donation that we had this year that we did photos behind, and that was really well received. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see the 2 silhouettes, if you can see the silhouettes behind the stage, the 4-H and the FFA sign. Those were donated by Rich Welding and Fabrication. Those are huge, big steel plates that he made for us, and then will hang in the barn forever. So we really appreciate that. I just wanted to showcase some of the activities. If you go to the next slide. We had a senior day that was led by Mick and Debbie Trujillo, and that was really well received. In fact, we've heard that the seniors really, really appreciated that. We provided them lunch. We had a DJ. They had dancing. It was really, really fun. Of course, we also did our quilt show this year, our pie contest. We had a goat roping for the kids, the movie night in the arena. We had a family dance. There was also a cornhole tournament that was sponsored by the Mesa Vista FFA. And then the next page really highlights some of the activities that the Pretty Tough Cattle Women put together. And actually, I'm really happy that Sage is here to hear this. Sage and her committee, this Pretty Tough Cattle Women, really stepped in this year and provided lots of extra activities outside of the barn. that were really well received. There was a soil and water conservation display. The Southwest Dairy Museum was there. Game and Fish was there. Local farms. There was a community day. We had local businesses and agencies that had information booths. Moving Arts had dancers there. Pope Hay had dancers. There were singers, face painting, pottery and leather activity. There was a beef disco cooking contest, a small car show that Ralph Martinez helped, and then a round robin showmanship contest. And I hope I didn't miss anything, but I think that highlights all the separate activities that they helped put together. And again, here's just a few of the pictures from the events this year. I know I saw a lot of you guys out there. Commissioner Jaramillo, I saw you. Commissioner Martinez, I saw you. I know Commissioner Martinez, you're out of town, but we really appreciate your all support over the years. Where we could use your help this year, not asking for a lot, but the sound system for the rodeo grounds needs some assistance. We don't own the facility, and so it's not really our place to upgrade the system, so that's something that we would like you all to consider. We do have a small budget set aside for that, so we can assist a little bit, but really it's the installation of the system that maybe we would look to your all, to support as part of the facility, since we don't own the facility. The tent, Commissioner Jaramillo supplied the tent for us last year that we used for the senior day and a lot of the other activities, and it was great. And I know you guys have requested the cost on that. Unfortunately, American Tents has not responded to me, so I will keep pushing that to see if we can get the actual cost to purchase the tent, to see if the county would be willing to purchase an additional tent for us. We would love that. And then if you were there for the auction, it was extremely hot. And in fact, this year we had some issues with the airflow, and in fact we had some animals get sick, and we had to send home some goats early and whatnot because of the lack of airflow. So if there's anything that you guys can do to help us to keep the air moving in the barn, especially during auction, we would really be grateful. So with that, I want to invite everybody to come out to our fair. We have set our dates for next year. It'll be July 29th through August 2nd, and our Homemade Delights auction will be on that Saturday, August 1st, starting at 5 o'clock. So we really encourage everyone to come out and appreciate the support that you guys have given us.
All right.
Any questions for me?
Thank you, Christy. Thank you. Commissioner, any questions and comments on there?
Thank you for being a part of our meeting today and highlighting some of the activity that went on throughout the fair. Me and my family were thankful to be there. Part of the time, I know there's a whole calendar of activity, week of activity that is included, and so we were there for part of the time, but we were glad to be there. We saw the different activities, events, the livestock, and so on. So a job well done to you and your whole team, because we know for sure that something like that does take a team to put things together, volunteers and so on. So thank you again to you, Mr. Coriz, who's in the audience, and whoever else is a part of this. And I think speaking for the commission, we would again welcome our support in however way we can, and I know you can count on us to be there for you, for the youth, and thank you again for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kirsty. So one thing early on we talked about are these hardworking kids sometimes get forgotten, because in a community that's focused on athletics, we sometimes only focus on sports, or we focus on kids who aren't making the grade. And those kids who are working hard in the middle, we sometimes forget. So I'm thankful for all that you did for the kids in the county with the rodeo. And I was amazed at the amount of work they do in those hot temperatures. So maybe what I can do, since Los Alamos County does send students, is reach out to the county council and see if maybe there's a way, if we do work on air conditioning, that Los Alamos could help us with that.
Sure.
And then I still will commit that tent, if it's not purchased.
Okay.
I'm getting the tent for you again for next year.
Awesome.
The seniors were so happy under that tent for the dance, and so I'll make sure I get that tent.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Very good.
Christy, thank you. Thank you so much for the report. It was great that you guys come every year and report to us. And I want to apologize for not being there. I like to be there every year, but this year my baby granddaughter was celebrating her first birthday in Las Cruces, so I had to be there.
Yes.
It was a big commitment for me there, so I apologize for that. And I'd like to go and support our kids, and I'd like to buy lamb. So I was able to buy one after the fact, but nevertheless I did get my lamb. And I was just making some notes here on the audio and the air conditioner system and one request that I've had in the past is, and we talked about it last year, is replacing the sand in the barn. It might be contaminated or what. I was just thinking about it as you were doing the presentation, and Tomas, we did get some money from the legislature to continue working on the facilities. So maybe, Tomas, we can include the audio systems in there. Maybe we can replace that dirt, get a contractor to do it for us, and maybe in addition get some more or better air conditioner systems with that money. So we'll try to do that. This commission is committed to support our fair. We have, and I know that Commissioner Arriba has been there every year. He's trying to get in the pool next year, so that might be the.
How about we national?
Anyway, nevertheless, congratulations to all the kids in Arriba, and I wish this fair would grow bigger, even bigger.
Thank you.
This is my last year as a commissioner, but I will continue supporting our kids in Arriba to the 4-H, and you'll see me there.
We really appreciate that. And Commissioner Garcia, you have been there for many, many years, so even before I come along. So thank you so much for your continued support. We look forward to continuing to see you. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now the brownies went for $1,200.
Yeah, the kids do great with their baking. Item number 3, introduction of RSO, new chaplain program and program completion. Certificate awards for Alvin Mondragon and Jill Mondragon. Sheriff, are you presenting that?
Yeah, we're here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Welcome.
Chairman Garcia, Commissioner Jaramillo, Commissioner Martinez, Mr. Campos, County Manager. We're here to present our Arriba County Sheriff Chaplains, and here to give you a little insight on it is Jerry Axtell. She's the director of the Sangre de Cristo Chaplains. So I'll let her speak now. Coming after me.
Good
Thank you.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much.
You can adjust that speaker if you want.
Better?
Yes.
Thank you so much for allowing us to do this presentation here. So my name is Jerry Axtell. I am a co-founder and a director for the Sangre de Cristo Chaplain Services that services the Espanola Valley. We started out as a first response chaplain corps, and that's what we're true to. And so the sheriff has desired to have his own chaplains for some time and not have to share, so that they could be totally dedicated to that agency. And the Mondragons have definitely had a heart for that, and so they have completed everything that they needed to, all of the requirements, and there's a lot of them. It's not an easy task to achieve. It's a milestone. This certification of chaplaincy is a milestone. It takes a lot of training. It takes consistency in the field, proven consistency in the field, and years of previous service in a ministerial type of field. And they have successfully done that. They've been on the job for some time now with the sheriff and have been doing amazing. And so we'd like to present them with their certifications.
Okay, good.
To have a little more to add on this, the Mondragons came on board with us, and we threw them right in the fire right off the bat. The first day they came in is when we had the Renesme Calzada incident that occurred, and they were there for us the entire time, for the deputies, for the family, for all the first responders that were assisting us in that call. So they got put to work right away, and they did an awesome job, and we really appreciate all the work they did. So I just wanted to make sure to mention that they did an awesome job.
Thank you. Alvin Mondragon. I'm going to go ahead and read this while he's up here, if that's okay, and then I won't read yours, Jill, for redundancy. Having given evidence of a divine call to the ministry and having exemplified proven qualifications for service to further the gospel ministry of Jesus Christ, and having satisfactorily completed the training prescribed by Sangre de Cristo Chaplain Services, Inc., is hereby entitled to and therefore awarded the designation of chaplain and is awarded the privilege and honors of this credential, given this day, actually it's backdated to July 31st, 2019.
Not the boss.
And for Jill Mondragon, ditto. There you go. And that concludes the ceremony. Do you all have any questions or?
Yes, we might have some comments. Commissioners?
Well, thank you so much for your call and for going out and praying over the people of this valley, our responders, and for being there for the families, especially for little baby. I think this entire community was praying, and to know that you could assist the family in their time of need means a lot to me. And so I'm thankful for your service, and I'm thankful that you're part of our team. Welcome.
Yes, congratulations, and thank you for being faithful to your calling. I, as an ordained minister, know not only the blessing that it is to be able to minister to an individual, whether it's in their time of need or in their time of victory, or maybe somewhere in between. I know firsthand, and I'm sure all of us here know the power of prayer and how we can call upon our Lord Jesus in whatever place we find ourselves in. And so thank you for, again, your faithfulness to the ministry, and may God protect you, be with you, and bless you as you continue forward in this calling that God has placed upon your lives. So thank you again.
And I as well, thank you. Congratulations to your awards, and thank you for being there for all these people, and continue your work that you do for them. Thank you. And thank you, Sheriff. Thank you, Chaplain, for the award. Thank you so much for being here today.
They're both going to be in uniform, but you're going to be able to tell which is the boss because she'll let you know. Also, they're going to have the same as our EDU uniforms. The only difference is above their patch, they'll have a banner that says chaplain on them, and we're really happy to have them on board. So welcome aboard.
Thank you. Moving on, we move to item 4, the Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Art Brown.
I have some handouts. May I hand them to you?
Sure, please do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
My name is Leticia Bernal. I am the Regional Director for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Los Alamos and Arriba counties. Thank you so much for having us. I am blessed to be followed by a couple people that represent our organization. So I have Kelly Myers, I have Angela Herrera, and I have David Sherman, who's our CEO. We are going to all be talking today about the 200 youths, which we call littles, that we are servicing in Arriba County. So we're going to start with Kelly Myers.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Commissioners Martinez, Sarmiento, and Garcia, for giving Los Alamos Rio Arriba Regional Board of Big Brothers Big Sisters Mountain Region an opportunity to present to you. My name is Kelly Myers, and I've been involved with this organization for just over 10 years, and I've been the co-chair of our board for the last 9. We've had all of our board members, or most of our board members, have been involved for about 6 years, and I think that's a good track record for volunteer boards. And that says something about our mission. In 2013, the Los Alamos board joined forces with Rio Arriba
to make one really good board and to do the one thing that we do, and that is to provide as many kids in our communities with adult mentors. These adult mentors are thoroughly screened and supported by the staff of Big Brothers Big Sisters Mountain Region. At a time when many people are feeling overwhelmed by the problems and all the challenges outside of this community and our communities all over the United States, children and adolescents are feeling some of that stress, probably more than we even know. And so it's exciting to discover the energy in working together with Big Brothers Big Sisters, because, like I said, we only do one thing, and we do it really, really well, and we've done it for over 100 years. And that is, we match an adult with a child, and they become lifelong friends. I taught school for 22 years, and at the beginning of each school year, I would ask my students to write down the names of at least 3 responsible, caring adults who would never abandon them, who would always be in their corner. And it was just shocking how many kids could not come up with 3 names. I knew then how vital it was for kids to have positive, personal role models, friends. It's a very basic part of the foundation of health and well-being. So I want to thank the Commission for your past financial help. You've helped us a lot. And I want you to consider continuing helping. And before I leave, I would like to introduce one of our Bigs of the Year. This is Angela Archuleta. Come here.
I've been big for 7 years now, and when I first started, I was school-based, and I would go 1 hour a week to the schools, and you and my little, but then I changed about 5 years ago to home-based. And I have a little girl. Well, first of all, I need to tell you something. We need more bigs and more littles, because a lot of these kids come from broken homes, and oh my God, it's so heartbreaking. Anyway, I've had a couple, and one little girl just broke my heart. She quit in the 6th grade to stay home, to take care of her brothers and sisters because her mom couldn't help. She was on drugs. It just, and the new little girl that I have now, I've had her for 5 years. We do all kind of things. I've taught her to plant flowers. I've taught her to bake lemon squares. She taught me to make cupcakes. She didn't think I knew, but that's okay. And we do a lot of fun things. We go out to movies. In the summer, we plant flowers. We go to the Lenstic thing. Thanks to all the help and all the donations that people give, we can go watch all kind of beautiful programs free. And what it's done to me, I retired about 8 years ago. And I thought, oh God, what am I doing? What am I going to do home? I don't want to be home. So I started being a big sister, and also I take care of an 87-year-old lady, which I love. And that's it. But my name is Angela Archuleta. And I'm happy to be here, and I hope that with my help a little bit, you can help us a little bit. Thank you. Nice talking to all.
Thank you.
And my name is David Sherman. I'm the CEO for Big Brothers Big Sisters Mountain Region. Don't let the name confuse you. Mountain Region is 100% in New Mexico. We just are most of northern New Mexico, and then we go all the way down into southwest New Mexico and came up with the name Mountain Region. A couple things I wanted to just touch on real briefly. One, I wanted to thank you for your past support and continued support. It means so much to us. We are blessed with caring and loving volunteers that donate their time, but it does take money to run our program, and we rely on donations. We don't charge the children, we serve 1 penny. The second thing I wanted to highlight is how great a job you are doing here with Big Brothers Big Sisters in Arriba County specifically. We're serving about 100 children, and while we know there's a lot more kids who need the help, compare that to Santa Fe, where they're serving between 250 and 300 children. It just shows you how impactful the program has been here, and per capita how many children we're reaching. we've also been able to get a lot of support, both from within New Mexico and also outside of New Mexico, specifically for the county. And I should say all dollars raised in the county stay with the county. But we recently received an award from our national office to serve children who are impacted by the opioid crisis. And so we're really excited to begin that program starting January 1. We're also excited about a few new initiatives we have, including our intergenerational mentoring initiative. I may have mentioned this last time I spoke with you, but we're finding that our volunteers 55 and older, those matches last exactly twice as long on average as our other matches as a whole. And they're showing better and stronger outcomes. And so we really want to continue to recruit and serve volunteers who have lived experiences that they can share with children. And the other thing is we have a Bigs in Blue program, or we call it actually here, nationally they call it Bigs in Blue. Here we call it Bigs with Badges. This is why. Not all those with badges wear blue. But just finding that some of our best mentors, again, can be those that are first responders, and finding creative ways for them, either with the schools or with other programs, can drop in and spend some time one-on-one with the child. And it really makes a difference for the child, but also opens their eyes to law enforcement and building that positive relationship with those in those careers. With that, I think I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman, could you touch a little bit on what the opioid program would be through Big Brothers Big Sisters?
Yeah, we're still working on that. The big part of that is going to be building partnerships within the community and making sure, so it's serving children who either directly or indirectly have been impacted. So it could be that they have relatives, a parent, an older sibling who's been impacted, or they may themselves have been impacted. And then it's finding volunteers, providing those volunteers with some additional, more intensive training and supports than we typically do. Our normal mentoring program focuses almost exclusively on just relationship building. This will actually incorporate, again, we won't be providing the services, but other services for both the family, the child, and the volunteer.
Thank you. Now, I don't know, gentlemen, if you know this, but 47%, I think, of kids with Big Brothers Big Sisters are less likely to use illegal drugs. And I think it's 27% are less likely to start using alcohol at an early age. But what I really love about the program is that it boosts their confidence and their performance in the classroom. And so that was a major reason I stood behind funding Big Brothers Big Sisters last year, were those positive impacts that all of you are making. And Mrs. Archuleta, thank you for what you do on helping out students within Arriba County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, ladies. Thank you to the CEO and to Ms. Bernal first of all, for being here this afternoon and share with us the positive impacts that are ongoing. We don't provide funding just so we can look good, but we provide funding because we see the value of what an organization like yours does and the impacts that you and your volunteers have on the life of these students. And so I'm thankful and proud that we as a commission could help support your organization. As we just heard, just a little bit of what you do and the impact that you're having. And I know that as a commission, we look forward to our ongoing support of your organization. And thank you again for all that you do. Much, much appreciated. Thank you. God bless you.
And thank you. I want to thank you myself and echo what my fellow commissioners have said. Yes, and Ms. Archuleta, thank you for your story. That was a touching story on that. And we need a lot more people that would volunteer and mentor our kids in school. We really appreciate what you do for these kids. And thank you all. Thank you. We appreciate what we do, and that's only a token of appreciation what we donate to this cause. and we will continue supporting big brothers and big sisters. Thank you so much for being here today and your presentation.
Thank you.
Moving on, we move to item 5. The 5 national rodeo finalists, Sage Faulkner. Good afternoon, Sage.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Campos. Mr. Campos actually asked me to come because he knew you all wanted to recognize the 5 contestants that are going to the World Finals in Las Vegas the first 2 weeks of December. Not all the kids were able to make it. Most of them also put school as a very high priority. But I want to tell you their names really quickly in their events, and then again, we appreciate the opportunity. So our first contestant that will be going to Las Vegas is Wacy Trujillo. Wacy is the daughter of Tanner and Lenny Trujillo. She will be competing in the 10 to 12 goat tying. And folks, that's the best in the world. There are contestants that have qualified from Canada all the way through the United States. And Wacy will be there working her tail off to represent you all very well. Our next contestant will be Eddie Maestas. Eddie isn't able to join us, but his mom is in the back, and I want to recognize Mrs. Maestas. Eddie will be in the senior boys bull riding, and he's a student up at Escalante, and he is ecstatic to be able to go again with the best in the world. Also from Escalante is Wyatt Terrazas, and Wyatt is the son of Billy and Maggie Terrazas, and will be in the senior bull riding. Then we have Miguel Martinez, who is the son of Daniel and Tara Terrazas, but Martinez. He will be in the 10 to 12 boys bull riding, and this is his second finals event out there in Las Vegas. And then we have my son, Monty Faulkner, who will be riding saddle bronc horses for the first time out there. And these kids went again all over and qualified all over. We went to Kansas to the regional finals and worked our way on up. And so these kids are working really hard, and they're thrilled to have the opportunity to represent all of you guys, and they appreciate the recognition for their hard work. So thank you all for that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just wait here till we finish with our comments. Thank you. Commissioners, any comments?
I just wanted to congratulate you all. What a job well done. To be recognized and to be able to represent Arriba County and in the world. That's so impressive. On a side note, my nephew, his name is Malachi Ariano. He has competed in some of these events as well, and he's friends with Wyatt and Eddie. He talks about them all the time, and so it's so good to hear how they will be representing in the world finals. So God bless you all. We will be praying for you for safety and for success as you all make your journey there. And thank you again for representing our county so well. God bless you for that.
You sure?
So is it my understanding that the young men practice together, even though they're going to be competing probably some events that are the same, but they practice together?
Yes.
I think that's amazing, because I always say, and everybody knows this is going to sound redundant, but we are stronger together. Now, I do want to offer up our attorney, Avan Trujillo, or our county manager, Tomas Campos, if Wacy Trujillo needs some help tying up someone and chasing them. But in all seriousness, I really am going to look into getting to those world finals, and will ask that if I do make it, that our county manager sends me with the Arriba flag, and I'll be waving that as you compete.
Perfectly.
If you do have a fundraiser where you're fundraising to go, please invite me, because I personally like to donate to the cause. Best of luck to you, and I know you're going to win. I'm not going to say I hope you win. I know you're going to win, and I'll be cheering you on.
Thank you. And on that note, Mrs. Maestas does have a raffle going for Eddie that I know of off the top. So
Okay.
that's a good one.
Make sure I get some of those raffles with spices.
And I want to congratulate you, all of you, and all these kids I know, and they're from up north. Eddie's dad was just there yesterday. with the raffle, and I'm supporting it, and I'm very proud of you guys. I'm very proud, and it's great to hear that you guys made the finals in Las Vegas, and I wish you the best of luck. Be safe out there, and hopefully that you bring back to Arriba County a big old plaque or whatever, and that you guys win awards out there, or whatever you guys win. I wish you the best of luck, and I know that these kids are great kids, and Eddie's my neighbor up in Cantilon, so the best of luck for all of you guys, and thank you for coming today to present to us.
Do you want to say a few words as a contestant?
I don't know.
Are you okay? We're just very proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That concludes with the presentations, and we move on to action items. Item A, budget report for October for review only. Christine Montani.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Mr. Campos. Before you have the budget report for October 2019 for review only.
Comments, commissioners? Questions?
After reviewing it, no questions or comments.
Okay, go ahead, Christine, with item B, cash report for October.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Mr. Campos, before you have the cash report for approval for October 2019.
If there isn't any questions, I recommend approval.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion by Commissioner Jaramillo. Do you hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Martinez. Discussion? There being none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it, motion carried. Go ahead, Christina, item C.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Mr. Campos, before you have the vouchers for October 15, 2019 through November 7, 2019 for approval.
If there isn't any questions, Mr. Chair, I recommend approval. I'd also like to please note that this monitor burned out, so I have to start this.
Is that why it's going so fast?
Well, I don't know.
You don't want to let us see it.
I just want to see the total, because earlier we were in an investment meeting and.
What's the total on your?
It's $1,970,000.
So I was pretty accurate. The question was, how much money does this county use in a month? And my answer was $4 million, $2 million in payroll and $2 million in vouchers. So we're close.
That was a good guesstimate.
Yeah. Okay, there's a recommendation, commissioners, from our county manager. What is the pleasure of the board?
Approval to, motion to approve the vouchers?
There's a motion by Commissioner Jaramillo. Do we hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Martinez. Any further discussion?
No.
There being none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. We move to proclamations. Proclamation number 2020-07. A proclamation to recognize Giving Tuesday. Christina, I still can't pronounce her name. I'm not going to try. So. Casa Llorona.
Very good, very good.
So, a month or so ago, Cindy at United Way approached the county for assistance getting a proclamation in, to promote Giving Tuesday. And they're such great partners, and this is such a fantastic event. I researched it and learned a lot about the powerful movement that Giving Tuesday has become. It's an international movement now. It really motivates people to donate and to volunteer in their community. And I'll give it over to Cindy to just give you a few more highlights.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Members of the commission, my name is Cindy Padilla. I'm the executive director of United Way of Northern New Mexico. And I just want to thank Christina and Christopher for helping us with this proclamation, and of course, for all of you for passing the proclamation. As you all know, Thanksgiving is next Thursday, which is kind of hard to believe. It's already next week.
We have Black Friday, which quickly follows, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, and we're happy to have Giving Tuesday. Giving Tuesday, as Christina said, is really a national, actually international day, reminding all of us, how much we have to be thankful for, and also approving, just like actually supporting all of us, the things that we do have, and the fact that we can share and give Giving Tuesday. So I want to thank you for the proclamation. We also had similar proclamations passed by the city of Espanola last week, as well as the county of Los Alamos. And so it really is a regional recognition of Giving Tuesday and the support that all of us do. We recognized Big Brothers, Big Sisters earlier, and all of the nonprofit organizations that do so much. So again, I just want to thank you for your support with this proclamation.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for your presentation. Are we approving the proclamation now, Thomas?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, make the recommendation. And comments from the commission?
Chris, if you don't mind, if you could just, for those who are watching Facebook Live, let them know what's in the proclamation and what the county will be doing on Giving Tuesday.
Yes, and I meant to print out a copy of it. Would it be possible? Could someone read? I can't read it. Oh, perfect. Excellent, thank you. So Giving Tuesday was established in the United States as a national day of giving. It's quickly become an international movement. It's a celebration of philanthropy and volunteering, and it just reinforces the acts of giving around our traditional holiday of Thanksgiving. It's a day when we also encourage citizens to come together and share commitments, which ties in greatly with our Arriba Rising initiative and all the good things that are happening in our county and our community these days. The fact that we have the regional partnership that Cindy mentioned just is icing on the cake. And it's also part of United's Way's initiative to create a platform so that people in our community can better understand the mosaic of great nonprofits and agencies working in our community for the betterment of it and our citizens, and give in whatever ways they can with their time, their treasure, or their talent. Everyone has something to give.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Ms. Padilla.
Cindy, now I did get contacted by some employees from a bank who are given time to volunteer in the community and their time is expiring. Now, would I be able to put them in touch with you to find any type of ways they can volunteer within Arriba County through the United Way of Northern New Mexico?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Jaramillo, absolutely. I mean, they can certainly contact me. We have contacts with over 45. Can donate, every paycheck, $1, $5, $10 as an employee giving campaign. We welcome that from the county, but also, allowing our employees time off. Like you said, our banks, I know that Wells Fargo does that, gives them some paid time off at the enterprise, to actually volunteer in the community. Habitat for Humanity, any of the nonprofit organizations would be anxious to have some help.
Well, in the spirit of Giving Tuesday, I'll volunteer that I'll find a group of county employees who will work with me, and we'll find a project to volunteer with through the United Way of Northern New Mexico to show that Arriba County truly means it when it comes to giving back to our community in the spirit of Giving Tuesday.
Thank you very much. It's awesome.
Just thank you, ladies, for presenting today. Thank you, United Way, and all your staff, volunteers, for all that they do here in northern New Mexico, Arriba County in particular. When I read the agenda and I saw this item listed there, I knew that I was proud that this commission can be a part of something like this, because I think that we've all made a decision that working together, we can do something positive for our community. We can do something for our brothers and sisters in need, and I'm grateful that we can partner together with United Way, with other nonprofit organizations, our faith-based communities, and really make a difference, make an impact even in our world. And so thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for your presentation today.
Thank you, Christina, thank you, Ms. Padilla, and it is couldn't happen in a better time for Thanksgiving, the generosity of United Way, you work together to help people out there. And let it be proclaimed that Tuesday, November 26th, will be proclaimed a Giving Day, a Giving Tuesday. Here in town.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Motion to approve the proclamation, Chairman.
There is a motion by Commissioner Jaramillo. Here is second.
I second.
Second by Commissioner Martinez. Further discussion?
None.
There being none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it, motion carries. We move to items of resolution, item 3, and we have a resolution number 2020-034, a resolution supporting the New Mexico County's 2020 legislative priorities. Mr. Campos.
Mr. Chair, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. Resolution 2020-34. We're really supporting the resolutions put forward by the Association of Counties. Again, important to us, of course, is the two top ones having to do with the detention and the extradition of prisoners. The sheriff left, but I'm part of a group that's going to meet with Judge Nakamura to try to get the extradition of prisoners paid for. Again, PRA solvency, which is important to all of our county employees. Behavioral health, in fact, Lauren McKelt is right now at the subcommittee trying to testify on behalf of the behavioral health throughout the state. And of course, the Law Enforcement Protection Fund. Linda, you're our representative, aren't you? I don't know if Linda wants to add anything, and then Levi's also here. I don't know if either one of them wants to add anything.
Levi's here?
Levi's in the corner.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. See him?
Linda, you have anything to add?
Now, I do understand it's to help expand behavioral health, correct?
Yeah. Right now we have, well, it's at the detention and in general both. We're sorely lacking in behavioral health throughout the state. At the detention, we have a problem that we'll have prisoners that they more so need counseling than they need to be in prison, and we can't find alternatives so that they can get counseled or they can see a psychiatrist or anything like that. The resources just aren't available in the state, and that's mostly what that deals with. But
What is your recommendation, Mr. Campos?
I recommend approval, Mr. Chair.
There's a recommendation by County Manager Campos. What is the pleasure of this commission?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion by Commissioner Jaramillo. Do we hear a second?
I second.
Second by Commissioner Martinez. Any further discussion?
None.
There being none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. We move to resolution number 2020-035, budget increase, decrease. Ms. Montano, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Mr. Campos, before you have resolution number 2020-035 for approval, budget increase, decrease.
I recommend approval, Mr. Chair.
There's a recommendation, gentlemen. What is the pleasure of this commission?
I make a motion to approve.
There is a motion by Commissioner Martinez. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jaramillo. Discussion.
Now, when we see the budget increase, decrease, are we gonna see the list grow now that the bond took effect, that we're gonna see on initiatives that we have, that we'll see an increase, decrease?
Correct.
To keep funding them? Okay.
Okay. Those in favor?
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Chair, then you, Christine, will elaborate on something. Go ahead.
Okay. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you, Christine. Yes, Mr.
Well,
Campos.
just for example, the Arriba residential recovered facility, $940,000. That that would be a grant that we received, right, Christine, isn't
Then,
that?
yes, that's.
So that's why that shows up there, and then we're able to start spending on it once she adds the budget line item. So as we go through the process, and if there's individual roads that we need to see or anything like that, that's the way
We can drill down.
Is that OI, Belarda Residential Recovery Facility?
Yes, that's all right there. That's the appropriation we received to do various repairs and other things to it. And you'll see, for example, there's a sheriff under forest patrol, you can see that up there. The state library, that's just an adjustment, I believe, Christine. But the EMS funds that come in, that we handle, they trickle in, so. Money deposited from senior centers, all that's up there too.
So this monies are coming in right now, Christine?
Correct.
Or they've come
Or they're new grants or new revenue that comes in that we do a budget increase to. Or if the grant has expired or it's ended, that you'll see that we decrease the budget. Because it's already over and it's been that. Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you. We move to resolution number 2020-036, cash transfer. Christine, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Mr. Campos, before you have resolution number 2020-036 for approval for a cash transfer.
Okay, what is the cash transfer for, Christine? 24,877, is that it?
The cash transfer is from the New Mexico Primary Care Fund to the inmate fund. And what happened here is that the New Mexico Care, we got a grant for them and we had to do a cash match for them. Well, we did, and we went and we found the cash match, and then their grant expired, so they weren't able to use it. So now we're reverting the money back into the inmate fund.
Would it be possible then that we could reapply for the grant and get back the 24K? Like, will it happen again? Could it happen again that we could apply for that?
I think it could, I'm not sure. I think it was one of Lauren's grants.
Okay.
I'm not too sure.
Was it yours?
It was Lauren's.
It was Lawrence.
Mr. Campos, what is the recommendation? There's a recommendation, gentlemen, by our county manager. What is the pleasure of the commission?
I recommend we approve.
There's
Make a motion that we approve.
There's a motion by Commissioner Martinez. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Ramiro. Discussion. There being none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it, motion carries. Resolution, we move to resolution number 2020-37, the revised personnel classification schedule. Go ahead, Christine.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Mr. Campos, before you have resolution number 2020-037 for approval for a revised personnel classification schedule.
What is, for rec stop? Is that it? Clinical supervisor rec stop?
It is for rec
there's
stop and it is
three of them there now.
Two for health.
and it's for Lauren Health and Human Services.
I see.
Everyone's for rack stop. Not, well, it's not technically, it says rack stop, but that's still, wrong. That's Louise's, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Campos, recommendation, please.
I recommend it, Mr. Chair, and then, this is historic, this is the first time you see us go down instead of up. You'll see it go from a M33 down to a M24, and that was for budgetary and personal reasons that we needed to do that, but it should put a smile on your faces if we're asking for a decrease instead of an increase in the salary. So.
That's pretty high. Okay, gentlemen, there's a recommendation by our county manager. What is the pleasure of the commission?
I'll make the motion that we approve.
There's a motion by Commissioner Martinez. We hear a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jaramillo. Discussion.
Now, all of these are covered by grants, right? All of the positions are covered by grant money.
That is correct.
Okay.
Thank you, commissioners. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. We move to resolution number 2020-38, authorizing and approving submission of an application for $50,000 on financial assistance for a comprehensive plan to New Mexico Finance Authority. Christina.
This is the second of two grants we're currently applying for to contribute to our comprehensive plan. I do want to point out what we're trying to do this time around is really reach higher and be strategic and be visionary with our planning. That's why we're gathering these resources. This will help, this particular grant, this $50,000 grant. And the aim is to think big and get a company in to assist us with some real engagement of the public, some visioning with the public for a 25-year roadmap for our public resources and to develop our county according to the dreams and the visions of our citizens.
Okay. Thank you, Christina. Tomas?
I recommend approval, Mr. Chair.
There's a recommendation by the county manager.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion by Commissioner Jaramillo. Do we hear a second?
I second it.
There's a second by Commissioner Martinez. Discussion.
Chris, if you don't mind, if we do get the grant and we then go out to look into citizens of the county to assist with their visions of what the county should look like from now until 25 years from now, do you then plan meetings in each district, each one of the districts of the county?
Yes, I would believe so. Part of what I looked at was some different companies that have done some award-winning comprehensive plans for other places like Taos County, Santa Fe County, City of Española, to work through a company that's done that before, that kind of public engagement and has a roadmap to doing that effectively, and then working with county staff, we can identify key locations and districts to outreach to. But the idea is to reach all corners of the county, to include everybody in that visioning process.
Now, I did look at some comprehensive plans, but one I'd like to send you is by the City of Las Cruces.
Great.
I really liked that plan. That plan was brought to my attention by two residents who really want to see the county move forward and the city move forward, and the Las Cruces plan was actually a really well-written plan with milestones that were attainable, and I'll share that plan with you.
Great. Any questions?
No.
Well, Chairman, not more a comment. Thank you for presenting here today, Christina, and all your work that you do. But I'm excited to be able to represent District 1 in helping you and our other county staff in reaching out to our residents to gather their input, their plans. You know, over the last 11 months, I'm thankful to say that I've hosted 6 town hall meetings in my district alone, and during those meetings, we always heard valuable feedback from our residents. We heard ideas, and we heard plans and priorities for each community. For where we as a county, we share a lot of the same concerns and successes. I would say that each individual district and each individual community has its own unique challenges and its own unique priorities. And so I just look forward to being a part of this process and reaching out to the constituents of District 1. So thank you for your help with all this.
Thank you.
And to Chris Madrid.
Thank you. Thank you, Christina. Thank you so much. So you make the recommendation?
Yes, sir.
There's a recommendation for approval, gentlemen.
Motion to approve.
There's a motion by Commissioner Jaramillo. Do we hear a second?
I second.
Second by Commissioner Martinez. Any further discussion? There being none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Christina, thank you, Chris. We move to resolution number 2020-039. Oh, is that the one we tabled? Right, I didn't mark it, so sorry about that. We move to request for approval of our lodger's tax application. Ms. Vahid, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Mr. Campos, before you have the list of applicants for lodger's tax for fall of 2019. And the total amount granted is $33,500. For Mesa Prieta Petroglyph, 6,000. Cairo Archel, 5,000. Chamaski Passive, 1,500. Downtown Action Team of Espanola, 0. Embudo Valley Neighborhood Watch, 1,000. New Mexico Hispano Music Association, 10,000. Luciente, 5,000. Fiesta del Valle, 5,000.
Okay, Ms. Beheen, any discussion or approval?
Mr. Chair, I believe you have, well, I think you have two friendly amendments to this. I think Commissioner Jaramillo wants to make
One's from mine. So number 4, the Downtown Action Team of Espanola is the only one in my district, so none of the others are in District 2, and unfortunately, the only one from District 2 received 0 funding. So I would like to ask that they be given the money that they asked for. If you look at what they're doing, it's for the light parade in Espanola. One of the largest light parades in northern New Mexico, which is covered and followed by the Santa Fe New Mexican, with a link that goes live to Norteños who follow the Santa Fe New Mexican on Facebook, which not only highlights the city of Espanola, but the county of Rio Arriba and the proud residents of Rio Arriba County. I would ask that you reconsider, or that we reconsider as a commission, on what was put forward, and that we do fund the Downtown Action Team, since they bring in a number of people to the valley the day of their big event.
Mr. Chair, before he makes a motion, if you could hear Chris out on his request also.
Okay, just before we move on from the Downtown Action Team and Espanola, Sheila, what was the request?
$5,000.
$5,000? Okay. Go ahead, Chris, go ahead.
If I can briefly, Commissioner, members of the commission, speak to Downtown Action Team before I go on to the other item. I think the board had some misinformation that they had received funding that they hadn't received. And we're also partnering with them to have a light parade party at the Empowerment Center that evening as well. They've been great partners, and that event brings a lot of people. The second item, something that I did bring to the board when they convened. It wasn't a proposal, but it was a concept which allows me to bring it here today. When I first got here 6 years ago now, we did a survey of the entire county. We asked a number of questions. One of the questions we asked is, when you have loved ones or friends who are coming to Rio Arriba County, or you're encouraging them to come, what do you tell them to do? Where do you tell them to go? Sadly, the vast majority said Taos, Santa Fe, there's nothing to do in Rio Arriba County. I've lived in Santa Fe County, Taos County, San Miguel County. I can tell you we have as much to offer in Rio Arriba County as any place else. But we need to change the mindset of folks. One strategy of tourism is not just having strangers come, but those that grew up here, who have roots here, to come back from time to time to enjoy what we have to offer. Or those of us that are in this region to have our friends come and come pay a visit and see what we have. It's a significant strategy, or a real powerful strategy, and can have great impact. So what I brought to the board's attention was an ask for $5,000 so that we can use our radio, some of our publications, to inform the public of all that we have to offer. And this is a proper use of lodger's tax, and we suggested $5,000. Because they didn't get their traditional application, they said we can't make that decision in that forum, but I can bring this to the commission, and the ask is for $5,000 for that purpose.
Commissioners, I would ask that you would support in my wanting to fund something from District 2, which would be the $5,000 from the Downtown Action Team.
Okay. I do have an additional request to the lodger's tax that I didn't mention that day, Chris, and you were involved last year on this. The Chama Information Center, normally we award, and how does that work, Chris? Last year you presented to the lodger's tax, and I think it was in the amount of $1,000 for the information center in Chama, the village of Chama.
Commissioner, it was $2,000 last year. And for folks that don't know, the previous administration closed down their statewide information centers, tourism centers. Ours was one that was closed down about 3 years ago. One of our biggest successes, when they closed it down, they closed down Raton, they closed one down at the hill south of Santa Fe, and one other. And they said, you guys can open them back up. None of them opened back up except ours. So back when that happened, I think we showed up with about $5,000. We haven't had to spend any more since. We did $2,000 last year. But it outperforms. When the state was paying $240,000, now we have a budget of around $25,000, and it outperforms what it did when it was under state control. So last year was $2,000, Mr. Commissioner.
Okay. Well, I make a recommendation to this board that we, this year, will allow the village of Chama with another $2,000 to the information center.
Chairman, I would also agree and recommend that we do fund the downtown action team, as was recommended by Commissioner Jaramillo. But in addition to Commissioners and Chairman, your request, I too want to make an additional request. The Fiesta del Valle de Española, one of the most well-known and visited fiestas in the state of New Mexico, they submitted their application for approximately $8,000. The Lodgers Tax Board approved $5,000 of that, and so I'm here today to bring support to the Fiesta Council and request that we make an additional $3,000 to bring their request to or their approval to the $8,000, which was closer to what they had requested. So I respectfully ask for your consideration, Chairman and Commissioner.
As a former Don Juan de Oñate, I always support the Fiesta. It was a program that helped me to truly embrace public speaking and embrace every culture in the valley, and I would stand by that.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay.
Hold on, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
For clarification, one of them needs to make a motion to add all these to the list, right?
That's what I was going to.
Chairman Garcia, Commissioner Jaramillo, Commissioner Martinez, Manager Campos, Deputy Manager Watkins, you have a lot of amendments to this list of applicants for the lodger's tax, so I think that it's important that the commission make a very deliberate, specific, and careful motion that captures all of the different amendments, so it's clear from the record. I mean, the commission is the final decision maker for the expenditure of lodger's tax, and so as long as they are proper uses that promote, the tourism-related activities that the lodger's tax was designed to promote, then I think that the commission is on firm legal ground. But it's really important when you have so many different amendments that you take them very carefully and have a clean record for.
Let me
and I would also add that you probably should include the dollar amount that you're requesting, and also a total, and then not knowing what the balance is of the lodger's tax fund. I think it's probably important to hear from Steve that there is sufficient funds to accommodate those.
So the request of the additional funding would be an additional $10K. Sheila, do we have $10K to cover?
It would be 13.
Would it be 13?
Is it 13?
I thought a 502.
I think
No,
it's
it's 50.
10,000.
No.
50, yeah, there's a balance of 29.
Well, hold on, Commissioner, you requested 5, right?
I requested 5 for the downtown
Okay,
action team.
Chris's
I requested
request
I
was
requested
5,
2,000.
so that's 10.
Oh,
Your request was for 2, that was
Oh, yeah,
12,
that's okay.
and your request was for 3, it's 15,000 total.
Yeah, 15,000.
Sorry, I didn't record Chris's 5.
Okay, just to our legal
My
counsel
recommendation
and to
is
Chris,
Chris also.
and maybe we do have to go through motion, Avan, but is this something that with the policy or the rules, Chris, you had mentioned that the commission could act on it without the lodger's tax approval, right? Can you elaborate on the policy or the law, how it reads on.
I'll leave it to our council to mention the law, but Adon, what I did is I looked at the statute, and it does fall under the same paragraph 4, which is the lodger's tax board. It needs to come before them. And what I did is I went and I presented before them. They didn't decline it, but my understanding is that because it didn't come in the typical package, the forms that they're used to, they felt that they couldn't give it a yes. But my understanding in talking to our assistant county manager is that they were open to this being brought before the commission for their consideration.
Commissioners, the Lodgers Tax Board makes a recommendation to the commission. They don't have the actual authority to authorize the expenditures. What they have the authority to do is review the applications that are presented to them, make a recommendation to the commission that the commission can then approve, decline, or in this case, approve and modify at the commission's discretion.
Okay. So we do need a motion, commissioners, and a recommendation by our county manager, so.
But just to clarify, Chris, the 5,000 you're requesting is for which group?
This would be for the county. We would be utilizing these funds to get on the radio, to work with publications, and to conduct outreach. And also, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, one other point regarding the 5,000 for the fiesta. It looks like we're piling a whole lot this go around, and there is enough funds, as Ms. Hill mentioned. But regarding the fiesta, that falls into the next cycle. So really, it's kind of, we're not putting it all on this side. We're actually taking some of this and putting it onto the next cycle. So that even though it sounds like 15,000 is a lot, it really is 10,000 to go around.
Okay. So, Mr. Campos, your recommendation, please.
I recommend approval, Mr. Chairman.
There's a recommendation by our county manager, gentlemen.
I make a motion to approve the list of applicants for the Lodgers Tax Fall 2019 with the following amendments. $5,000 to be added for the Downtown Action Team. 2,000, was it 2,500 for the Village of Chama, or 2,000? To include $2,000 for the Village of Chama. $3,000 additional to the Fiesta del Valle, which would take them from $5,000 to $3,000, and then finally, for a total of 8,000. So you asked for 3. So adding 3,000 to make that a new total of 8,000, and the last is adding 5,000 for Arriba County for marketing throughout the county.
For a total of 15,000?
Correct.
Okay. So this commission, can I entertain a motion for that?
That was his motion.
Motion.
That was your motion? I'm sorry. Yes, there's a motion by Commissioner Jaramillo. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
There's a second by Commissioner Martinez. Any further discussion? There being none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Motion carries.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Now that we've approved this, I'd like to make a comment, and it's kind of negative, and that's why I'm saying it after it passed. Just observing what's gone on, I would like for you guys to know that both of our municipalities in this county make or create way more lodgers tax and have larger lodgers tax funds than the county does. But both of these entities, Chama and Espanola, whenever someone from the county goes to them, they tell them, you're not from the municipality, we cannot help you. Also, I understand, and Chris can correct me if I'm wrong, Espanola may have committed all its lodgers tax to the Mission Convento, and therefore, because of a lack of planning, don't have money to give their own people. All I'm saying is, I think we need to reach out to both of these entities who do have larger tax tax funds than the whole county, because Chama has a bunch of hotels and Espanola does, we don't throughout the county. Just try to make them understand that we are, we help you, we would like for you to reciprocate to our businesses. And then, I feel bad for Espanola. I know it probably wasn't this administration, but a lack of planning on your part is causing your own constituents to suffer, and we have to pick up the difference. And I'm not saying we shouldn't help them. I mean, I made the recommendation that we should. All I'm saying is if we're gonna be this flexible, I expect the other two entities to do the same. So that's all.
Right, so Tomas, I agree with you. Chris, how much does the village of Chama donate to the information center? I know they do, but I don't know the number.
So, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, I did want to step up and let you know that Chama has been a very effective partner in this regard. What they did is they have actually more accommodations than we do as a county. So our lodger's tax, I think, comes in around $70,000 a year. Sheila? Our lodger's tax comes in around $70,000 a year.
63,000 something.
Okay. They come in at just under 100,000 a year. But they were only going at 4%, we were doing 5%. So before we gave them money 3 years ago, we said, we're not gonna do 5% on ours, and you do 4%. So they bumped it up, and they brought in another $20,000. But they're putting in about $25,000 into that center. And what we've invested is $5,000 about 3 years back, $2,000 last year. So we're getting a lot of bang for our buck. It's good. It's a good partnership, and they're stepping up as well.
I know they have a lot of volunteers in the village for the information center, and you know, I go through there all the time, and they just have a lot of people stopping there for information and for different things. And I know for a fact that they are doing great with the volunteers that are in the village. So yeah, I think it's well spent money from that.
Chairman, if I may, I just wanted to remind the Commission that if you're not going to sign the resolution that was prepared today because of the amendments, that I think that Sheila will probably update it, and just to remind you that there'll be a need to sign that at a later date once it's prepared.
Thank you.
And I recommend to our county manager and to Sheila to send a letter or contact the board that this has been done with the commission. So, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Okay, we shall vote on it. And those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you, Tomas. We move to item B, appointment of New Mexico County Insurance Authority, voting member and alternate, Mr. Campos.
Mr. Chair, again, the Association of Counties has asked that we don't buy insurance from the Association of Counties. Again, we went out to bid, and the private sector was more affordable. But we do get our workers' comp from the Association of Counties, so therefore we get a vote. There's an insurance pool. So,
Mr. Campos, the reason for this is because they joined the two pools.
yeah.
Because we did this last year just for the workman's comp, but we're having to do it again now because they combined the two pools together, and they have to go out and do this thing again. That's why.
So
it's one pool now.
So, Mr. Chair, if we could have, Deputy County Manager Gil Marquez as a voting member, and I'll be the alternate. You're required to vote like twice a year?
Yeah, but no, it's Saturday.
Okay, so you'll be the alternate?
Yes.
Okay, well, is that a recommendation, Mr. Campos?
Recommendation.
Okay, gentlemen, you heard our county manager as an alternate for the appointment of New Mexico County Insurance Authority, voting member. What is the pleasure of this commission?
I make a motion to approve.
There's a motion by Commissioner Martinez. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jaramillo. Any further discussion? There being none, those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Motion carries. We move to item C, a final personnel policy revision. Mr. Trujillo.
Commissioners, we did circulate the personnel policy that the Commission approved back in September, I believe, to the directors and to the elected officials, and we had a meeting together to discuss if there was a need for any revisions before the Commission finalized it, before the policy went into effect on December 1st. And so we did find some typos, and we did find the need to revise a few sections just to ensure that what we were what we were presenting to the employees on December 1st, as being in effect in December 1st, was as thorough and complete as possible. So those revisions have now been completed. Before you do have the final revised personnel handbook that will go into effect pending your approval today on December 1st, 2019. Of course, this is a living document, so as time passes, we will be making additional revisions as necessary to either comply with the law or to address any issues that do come up. But for today, this is as complete as it gets for us.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Trujillo. Mr. Campos, what's your recommendation?
Recommend approval, Mr. Chair.
There's a recommendation by our county manager, gentlemen.
Motion to approve the final personnel policy with revisions.
There's a recommendation by Commissioner Jaramillo. Is there a second?
I second it.
There's a second by Commissioner Martinez. Any discussion? There being none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Trujillo. We move to item number 5, out-of-state travel. A community anti-drug coalition of America training in Washington, D.C., February 2nd through 7th, 2020 for Daniel Archuleta, Steven Lovato, Diego Lopez, Luis Sanchez, Yvonne Martinez, April Olivas, Christopher Maestas, and Concha Montano. Luis Sanchez, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the board, County Manager Tomas Campos, Deputy County Manager Leo Marquez. Before you, you have the itinerary that we're wanting approval for out-of-state travel under the Partnership for Success grant. Has been approved to be able to go ahead and do this training. Part of the training for me is to train our staff and the people that are actually going with us to be able to continue throughout the grants. This grant that we have is for a 5-year grant, and I think the more training that I can give, the more effective it's going to be, and the better it will be for us to be able to implement the scope of work specific to this grant. So to me, I feel that it's important, and what I do, and you guys have before you, is that they have approved for the hotel $245 out of state travel, and I know that the county is $115, I believe. So I'm asking for approval for the $245 that the grant has allowed us to use for the hotel, as well as for the meals and the incidentals. They're giving us $76 per day. And so with the registration fees, the membership, the airfare, the hotel, the per diem, and environmental, we came up to $16,951. That's the high end. I believe if we're able to do the hotel and registration and the flight in advance, the flights won't cost us as much. So we just did the high end. We're hoping that if we're able to do it this month, that the cost of the airfare will be a lot lower. But we wanted to go ahead and see if we can get this approved.
Now, the important thing to note is all that 16.99K all comes out of the grant money, which the grant approved, so that's good news.
Right.
Perfect. So no cost to the county.
That's my question too. Okay, Mr. Campos, what's your
Recommend approval, Mr. Chair.
This is a recommendation by our county manager, gentlemen. What is the pleasure of the commission?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion by Commissioner Jaramillo. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
Second by Commissioner Martinez. Any further discussion?
Now, if you don't mind, Commissioner Martinez last time had talked about anyone doing out-of-state travel would come back and report to us on what happened. I would hope that that would happen in this instance too, because I'd be interested to know what you learned and how you can implement these programs in the community, and what national studies show the impact can be in Arriba County based on what they've studied prior to teaching the class. And I'd be interested in that as well.
Yes, we can come back and do that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Louise. Let's vote on it. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you, Ms.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. We move to item B, the National Animal Control Humane Officer Academy, Certified Animal Control and Cruelty Investigations Training in Surprise, Arizona on January 13th to the 17th for Ismael Odin and Cindy Maez. Who is Mr. Trujillo from the sheriff? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to have your permission to have two of our animal control officers proceed to Arizona for this animal control training, which will be the final training of their animal control, so they can get fully certified as animal control officers.
Mr. Trujillo, is this on the budget from the sheriff's office, or is this, how is this, we covering this?
I believe this is coming out of the manager's budget.
Mr. Chair, it's coming out of the manager.
Manager?
Yep. What's the total?
I'm not sure, Christine's not here, but the undersheriff did do a budget check and it is approved. I don't, you have to go down so I can see what but I think it's like $2,500 total or something like that.
If that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they'd be driving out there and spending 2 or 3 nights, and then I don't think they're flying out there. They're driving or they're flying?
No, they'll probably be driving.
They'll probably, I'm almost positive they're driving out there.
Okay.
I would have been approved.
Okay. Gentlemen, there's a recommendation by county manager. What is the pleasure of the commission?
I make the motion to approve.
There's a motion by Commissioner Martinez. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jaramillo. Discussion. There being none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, motion carries.
The undersheriff must have been the sheriff here. I don't know if you guys want them to report back as to what they learned about cruelty or not.
We can run it right along.
Is this like a once a
Thank you,
year?
Undersheriff.
Or once every so many years?
Okay, and I don't know if the record picked it up, but Commissioner Martinez's question, is it a once a year or? So far it's been once a year on different topics till they get certified, so.
For the animal control?
Yes.
Yes, it's a kind of like a 3-tier training.
Yes.
And this will be probably the final one.
Oh,
To get fully certified.
Very good.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sure.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Campos, is there a need for this commission to go into executive session?
No,
For Article 15?
no need, Mr. Chair.
Okay, there isn't. Do we have a county manager's report, Mr. Campos?
Yes, Mr. Chair, unfortunately, we didn't make the 3-day notice, but it's a requirement that the detention center report to you, anybody that's a new state law, anybody that's been in solitary confinement or solitary confined, so what says here is to present the report.
So you did earlier, is that the report that you gave us?
Yes.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Mr. Campos, Ms. Padilla. I handed out earlier our restrictive housing quarterly report from July to October that we have.
Okay.
We're gonna kind of explain at least, for example, the July one, would you explain to them how this?
So what they're asking us to do is to produce reports on any individual that's housed in restrictive confinement for any period of time. So as you have in front of you, for the month of July, we had a total of 6. We had 2 that were for disciplinary sanctions, and we had 4 for medical or mental health holds.
Okay.
And as you can see, there's the dates that they were placed on that restrictive housing and the date that they were released from it.
And the number coding shows the reason for placement, ethnicity, and gender, and the legends on the bottom of the report.
And this is, done quarterly,
We'll start putting our stuff on the agenda, so yes, so you can get it every quarter. Sorry, I didn't make the agenda this.
all right.
And then, Jose, I think they'd like to see the shakedown reports again, that way they know that you're actively pursuing and trying to get the drugs out of the detention, so I think the commission would like to see that report again. And probably quarterly, when you present this one, I think they'd like to see a quarterly, and we call it the shakedown report, I forget what it's formally called, but.
Yeah, I'll give the shakedown report and we'll just put everything together every quarter.
Thank you.
It's not a problem.
Thank you, Mr.
And then, I don't know, I think the sheriff would be interested in them too, I don't think you send them to the sheriff, but if you could send them to the sheriff also, that way.
Go ahead, sir.
I've gotten a few of them, but I still like to get one, like, if we get one every quarter, it'd be good to know, so we can work together with the jail.
Okay.
I'll get those.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gallegos.
Gentlemen, I don't know if you have any other questions for,
Happy
about the
birthday.
detention center.
Happy birthday, sir.
To Jose? Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Hold on, Jose, they haven't said they had questions. You know.
Well, first of all, you didn't bring a cake, but. It's okay. Anyway, any questions or comments to our officer? Okay, thank you, Mr. Nice.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any, thing to report from the commission today?
I know Commissioner Alamino did at the beginning of the meeting, but I wanna, thank, the voters. We know that the recent election was successful and was in our favor. The 3 questions that were presented to the voters on behalf of the county in the first of its kind bond election. And so we're thankful for the voters that they made a decision to invest in their communities, to bring in some much needed facilities and programs and repairs to roads and so on. So thanks to the voters and to our staff, I should say, who worked very hard at educating the voters, presenting materials on radio, on the newspaper, in town hall meetings, and so thanks to our staff. Now we were busy educating the voters on the issues. Now we'll be busy administering the bonds and assuring that the monies that will be are used just for those purposes. And so we have a lot of work to be done, but everything on behalf of the residents. And so the residents of Arriba County, you asked us to take action, and this is a commission that is not just talking about things, but actually doing things and taking action. So thanks to my fellow commissioners for your hard work, and again, to the staff and to the voters, thank you again.
I as well want to thank the public and all our voters for voting for this bond that passed in this county, because I am very pleased that we can move on and move forward with repairs of roads, with all the bond that we're going to be used, and there's a lot of work ahead of us. So I just hope that you guys in our staff, the managers, keep us abroad on how we're spending this money so that we can pass it on to our constituency and to our residents of Arriba. I also want to wish all our staff and our employees and everyone in the public a very happy Thanksgiving, blessed Thanksgiving, and hopefully that we don't eat too much for Thanksgiving. Thank you. Thank you all. Happy Thanksgiving all.
Now, commissioners, you should be thankful that I was going to dress as bond, Arriba County bond, for Halloween to make people aware of the bond and wanting to go out and vote. Be thankful I didn't have to put on the costume, but once again, I want to thank the residents of Arriba County for trusting in us that we will follow through on our commitments to them. Now, one thing that makes me excited is that the community, that residents will be able to have a voice in giving us opinions on what they think should happen with the athletic facility and of course with the nursing home as well. I said this to Tierra Maria, but for those of you who weren't there since we're streaming, I want to really thank Linda Padilla and Miss Sarah for the hard work that they and their staff do as the clerks to make sure that elections run smoothly. As a first-year commissioner, I worked as if though I was a member of the clerk's office, and so it was a lot of work. We started at 5:15 a.m. and finally by 9 p.m. I said, Linda, I know you're still here longer, but I've got to go. But in collecting those election boxes and in seeing and going out to thank poll workers and working on finding solutions to issues that were happening on scene and how your staff so quickly responds. It's a well-oiled machine, and I'm so thankful that you're part of this team, to the two of you, and I'm so thankful for the work that your employees do. I look forward to volunteering again.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
And one last thing, we have a new Rio Grande Sun reporter, and I want to welcome you to Rio Arriba County, to the Rio Grande Sun, and to Espanilla Valley. I hope that you truly take in the sights and truly explore the area. I think you're going to love it here.
Do you want to introduce yourself to the commission, please?
Sure.
Welcome, Molly.
I'm Molly. I grew up in Santa Fe
Oh.
and then left for college and graduated in May and back and love it here. So
Important question, red or green?
Christmas.
Christmas.
I like that answer. Very good.
Welcome, Molly.
Thank
Well,
you
welcome,
all.
welcome.
Welcome, Molly.
To this commission, and hopefully, and I look forward to working with you.
You too.
Well, anything else, commissioners?
So one last thing is, were we thinking about maybe changing the time to that December 17th meeting because of the threat? I know we had one of the clerk's employees who hit, was it a cow elk, in the dark hours of the morning. I don't know if we're concerned about it getting dark on December 17th with the commute coming back. I don't know if you wanted to entertain maybe changing the time or if we're okay at 3 p.m.
Again, you hurt my feelings, you guys are never concerned about me.
That's okay. I would agree with the recommendation that Commissioner Ramil has made, and of course hear the thoughts from Chairman, but I also would recommend that the meeting be moved to 1 p.m. on December 17th.
Okay, and I as well agree with that. I think that was one of the reasons that the commission meetings were changed to 10 a.m. and I will support that. So I don't think that we need to go through a motion, or do we, Thomas? Just
I think we do it, we're just announcing that we're moving, that's all it takes.
Now that we know that Chairman and the county manager have experienced driving life. The biggest peddler I never run into any wildlife other than the stray dogs.
I don't recall if the commission's resolution specifies the meeting time or if it's just the date. I don't recall, but I think that, there's nothing improper with formalizing, the intention to move it, so.
Okay.
Especially for those who are watching. I think the sooner that you put it out on the record.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Trujillo. So, moving on, and announcements then, our regular county commission meeting for December 2019 will be held in Guadalajara, New Mexico on Tuesday, December 17th at 1 p.m. And I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
There's a motion by Commissioner Jaramillo. Do I hear a second?
I second it.
And there's a second by Commissioner Martinez. Meeting adjourned at 4:48 p.m.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you all. Happy
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
With these meetings?
You're getting good at it.